we about Paris. What is true is that the authorities have done right by a lot of the athletes. Daniel Thomas Dodd has reason to feel aggrieved, reason to feel as if she wasn't put in a position to do her best, but I don't think that the administration of Jamaica's athletics is as deep in the pits as is being projected and as is being perpetrated. News comes up next with Stephen and Curly.
Strides, one dream, many heartbeats, one pulse. Sagicor, celebrating Jamaican success. The time by Sagicor is
7 o'clock.
You know what's sweet? The new pack Sweet Living promotion. Win great prizes. Send in 5 new pack labels. Fill out the tagline. New pack, more than just value. Time for live sweet. Enter the new pack Sweet Living promotion. June 16th to August 31. See the price for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Hi, I'm Celine Gordon, host of Holy Road.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy John Mark Wigan, host on the show Holy Road. Listen, people need to know what's happening in the churches and in ministry in all of Jamaica. It's an absolute blessing. We're really excited to share this.
Tune in to CVM. See it happen.
CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday. Brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Sports Culture Minister hospitalized, wanted man killed in St. Catherine, and study suggests teacher migration is at crisis level. Also this evening, NSWMA brings special cleaning operation to Western Jamaica. In the business report, a spotlight on exports. And in sports, Rashid Broadbell medals in 110-meter hurdles. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Carolyn Brown. It's Thursday, August 8, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us as usual. A man reportedly wanted for several crimes, including murder in St. Andrew, was this morning fatally shot in Newland, St. Catherine.
Now, on the heels of the incident comes another warning from law enforcement. Surrender peacefully. More from Nika Lewis.
St. Catherine South will provide no haven for criminals, a stance maintained by the acting senior superintendent in charge of the police division amid another incident in which a man said to be among the most wanted in neighboring St. Andrews South was shot dead by the police. The deceased has been identified as Christopher McLean, otherwise called Frazzle. The commanding officer in St. Catherine South details McLean's final stand early Thursday morning in Newlands, St. Catherine.
Acting on information this morning, a team of police officers went back and when he was accosted, it was reported to me that he drew a firearm at the police and the police defended himself, so he was fatally shot.
Police say McLean was no stranger to gun runnings and was only recently asked to turn himself in to the Hunts Bay CIB in relation to the murder of a man in Waterhouse, Kingston. Only a couple of years ago, the St. Andrews South Police shared that McLean was released from custody following charges of wounding with intent and possession of firearm.
We often remind them that they have to surrender themselves whenever the police is in pursuit of them. We also remind that if you challenge the police, then you might have instances like these. Surrender, have your day in court. Do not challenge members of the security forces. And I also want the citizens to understand that these are persons who have been on the police radar, and they're not to support them whenever they're in their communities. They're to let the police know. Because here it is, you have a gentleman who is from another community, wanted by police in another division, and has sought haven, safe haven, in other communities, in other divisions and parishes.
The St. Catherine South Police continue to urge criminals to surrender peacefully.
We're not about taking lives. We want to apprehend persons and take them in that they can have their day in court. But if you challenge the security forces, these are some of the results. Unfortunate they may be, is what you will end up with.
Meanwhile, Indicom has confirmed that its team visited the location this morning to investigate the matter. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
The Sports and Culture Minister, Olivia Babsy-Grange, has been hospitalized. Her admission was confirmed this afternoon by Government Senator and Parliamentary Secretary Apka Fitzhenley, who has been authorized to speak on her behalf. The 78-year-old minister only this week concluded months of preparation for the National Grand Gala celebrations and several related Emancipation Day and Independence Day events. Ms. Grange, who is also Minister of Gender and Entertainment, however, was noticeably absent from the Gala and Paris Olympics. Senator Fitzhenley says the minister's admission was precautionary.
Yes, Minister Grange was admitted to the ICU as a precautionary measure. She's expected to be out of the ICU imminently. She has been actively engaged in monitoring developments, including what's happening at the Olympic Games, which are currently underway in Paris, and she is very pleased that Rashid Broadbell was able to medal today for Jamaica in the 110-meter hurdles. I spoke to the minister and she has asked me to indicate that she is grateful for the good wishes and she expects to be well soon.
As the senator said, despite her medical status, the sport minister is reportedly keeping apace with the ongoing Olympics. Senator Fitzhenley relayed her support for the Jamaican team, highlighting the day's medalists.
The minister also specifically asked me to indicate that she is appreciative of the efforts of Hansel Parchment and Orlando Bennett, who competed today. And indeed, she is deeply appreciative of the efforts of the entire Jamaican contingent in Paris.
Now to a developing story. Sections of the business district nearing Halfway Tree were sent scampering this afternoon when gunmen opened fire, killing a man inside the Springs Plaza. The identity of the deceased remains unknown, but sources say the victim appears to be a bearer. The St. Andrew Central Police responded and found the male bleeding on the curb and motionless. The motorcycle he was riding was removed by the police and the man taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. While the police have confirmed the news of the incident, there's no clear detail pertaining to either a motive or a suspect.
Well, since the government's injection of additional resources into the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the agency says it's now poised to fulfill its mandate. The NSWMA special cleaning operations are underway in the western section of the island. Here's Trisha Kelly with this update.
It's been a little over a month since the government urged citizens to remove waste materials, especially derelict vehicles, from roadsides. This warning comes ahead of the National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA's special cleaning operation, which began in Portmore, St. Catherine a few weeks ago. The agency is now in the western end of the island, fulfilling its promise to create a more beautiful Jamaica, though removing vehicles in some areas could stir trouble. However, NSWMA Executive Director Audley Gordon explains the workers are simply doing their job.
We're not out here picking fights. That's not what we're doing. But if after 3 days it's not moved, just trust me, the crane truck is just parked out by flankers and it will be in this space. So after 3 days, we will come and remove it. Because all of what we are targeting today, we are legally empowered to do because they were served, the tickets have expired a long time.
The day's operations began in Catherine Hall, St. James, where residents expressed gratitude for the authorities' intervention. Deputy Mayor Dwight Crawford was also on location to facilitate the process. He says residents have been awaiting the agency's visit.
The residents are very happy. We're seeing the truck behind me here taking up all kinds of things, toilets, sinks, basins and all kinds of things. But there's also an issue where a lot of this garbage that residents are putting out are collecting water. So I've been getting the complaints about the mosquito breeding. But then when I look in the face basins and the toilets and the things that are placed, there are lots of mosquitoes in it. So I think that the residents have a part to play.
Speaking of playing their part, their Member of Parliament, Marlene Malahoo Fort, is appealing to residents to be more thoughtful when disposing of waste.
Please do not leave your derelict vehicle in the roadway and in the common community space. I have had roadworks delayed for months trying to get the cooperation of residents to remove the vehicle. What is happening now? A breeding site for rodents and mosquitoes.
The special cleanup initiative is spreading to other sections of the country. Meanwhile, NSWMA Regional Operations Manager Edward Muir says this is only the beginning.
It is not a one-off operation that we are doing. We intend to ensure that the 4 parishes in the western part of the island are dengue-free. We want to ensure that there's no reason why water should store in any container whatsoever to enable a dengue outbreak.
The Ministry of Health had predicted that the country could see an increase in dengue cases over the next few months. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And CVM News at 7 will continue right after this.
News at 7 Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Papa Jesus, insurance gone up again? Or go faster? It gas our insurance.
Driver, let's go.
Do you really want to stick with the same old insurer? For the first time in Jamaica, taxis, minibuses, coasters, whatever you drive, MIBinsure.com will find you an insurer who will slash your premium by up to 60%. They all claim to save you money, but only MIB Insure actually can. Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hello, I am Jeanette Schroeter, the technician engineer for Westmoreland.
She is part of Team JPS, working night and day to restore electricity to every single customer. Over 96% of JPS customers have electricity. We're dedicated to what we do, and we won't stop until every customer is restored. That's our commitment to you.
CVM News at 7 Thursday, brought to you by
MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
Welcome back. As teacher migration hits crisis levels, educational planning expert Professor Canute Thompson is citing a recent study that runs counter to initial claims made by the government about the state of education in Jamaica. Adrian Williams reports.
At the heart of a nation's education system, one will find teachers responsible for imparting knowledge and preparing students for the world of work. But with so many trained yearly, and of those a significant number migrating, Director of the Caribbean Center for Educational Planning, CCEP, Professor Canute Thompson, says there is a cause for concern based on a teacher migration study he conducted back in 2022.
We have raised this matter at this point to highlight the depth of the crisis. There has been an intensification of migration, and it poses a problem, a challenge for our education system.
Of 157 teachers surveyed for the study, 45.9% had left the Jamaican classroom and are working overseas, while some 41.4% were seriously contemplating migration.
We're having this conversation now because the government of Jamaica has signaled for the first time that it is seeking to recruit teachers from overseas. They're targeting Ghana, Nigeria, India, and the Philippines. which incidentally are 4 of the countries that North America and the UK also target, particularly India and the Philippines.
The study identified several root causes for the mass movement of teaching professionals.
We found 4 major factors. 1, low salaries. 2, lack of resources. 3, working conditions. And 4, leadership.
One key factor the research highlights is separate from complaints about low wages. Teachers are pushed to migrate due to lack of resources in Jamaica.
The least resource school in North Carolina or New York is better resourced than the best resource school in Jamaica.
President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson, agrees that there is a crisis.
We are at a state of crisis, and we want the Ministry of Education and the nation to understand that there is the need for us to deal with this systemic issue in order to save our country at this time.
Adrian Williams for CVM News.
The finals of the public sector debate got underway today with the Administrator General's Department and the Ministry of Justice arguing whether the gag clause in the Integrity Commission Act should be replaced. Well, the competition drew significant attention, tackling a critical issue concerning transparency and accountability in public service. Raheem White tells us more.
The atmosphere was electric as the finalists presented their arguments on a topic that has generated much public interest and debate. The gag clause in the Integrity Commission Act prohibits the Commission from making public statements about ongoing investigations until a report is tabled in Parliament. Critics argue that this clause hampers transparency and accountability.
All protocol observed. Mr. Speaker, after carefully analysing this debate, it is clear that my opponents have put forward arguments with no teeth, just gum. Let me show you the gumless arguments. They spoke about premature disclosure and telling the public before you telling Parliament before you tell the people. But my opponent, if it goes straight to Parliament, because it is tabled at the beginning of the investigation, when that is tabled to Parliament and Parliament reveals that to the public, mind you, the investigation would not have been completed.
The opponents, the Ministry of Justice, offered a strong rebuttal.
People aren't really interested in fairness or due process if it's not their career on the line. As alluded to by my first speaker, in Jamaica, if sitting no go so, it nearly goes so. That is the ankle-low threshold to pile on political pressure on someone who should be presumed innocent until proven guilty. We see it with the parliamentarians that are currently under investigation by the IC for unjust enrichment, or the illicit six as they've been dubbed by the media. The calls by some politicians to have them named and shamed have been very loud. Imagine if the IC were at liberty to disclose the identity of these persons. Surely they would bow under political pressure and step down from their seats before investigations are even concluded.
In addition to the compelling arguments from both sides, Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark weighed in on the debate, emphasizing the importance of having and holding values, especially while in public service.
So we hold the values there of analysis, of debate, of research, of rational discourse, of being, numerically and reasoning and literate. And this competition highlights those values.
Raheem White, CVM News.
The Jamaican-born nurse who was the first person in the United States to receive the COVID-19 vaccine outside of clinical trials has taken another step, documenting her experience and lessons from the pandemic in her book, First in Line. Dr. Sandra Lindsay recently hosted a book signing at the Jamaica Pegasus in Kingston. Adrian Williams got in line.
Dr. Sandra Lindsay, a name that will be etched in history as the first in the United States to be vaccinated against COVID-19. She has launched her book, which chronicles the motivations and lessons learned from the experience.
One of the driving forces behind this memoir is my commitment to addressing social issues, particularly health disparities and inequities faced by underserved populations.
The Jamaican-born nurse was not afraid being the first to step up to the plate in getting vaccinated.
I was not scared about getting vaccinated. I was scared about getting COVID and dying. I also wanted to instill public confidence in the science because I know that the people who are mostly affected look like me, and we are the ones that are less likely to get the vaccine because of historical mistrust, and rightly so. So I wanted to instill public confidence.
Lindsay was the recipient of the Medal of Freedom from U.S. President Joe Biden and had a portrait done to capture the moment by Jamaican fine artist Conroy Green.
Very much elated. I am honored. Really, I am honored. When I went on YouTube to actually view the event with her receiving the presidential award, I learned more about the magnitude of her service then.
The registered nurse and author took time to have a book signing and shared the moment with family, friends, and colleagues. To persons who may feel discouraged, Lindsay injected this piece of advice.
Stay humble, stay determined, but most of all, be yourself.
Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Your business segment is up right after this break. Stay tuned.
My peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. The least if you test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Really long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Do a HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Really long life, our story. Real long life was a youth coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We a bucket together when everybody out. Fried chicken we a pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flavor. When we a bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share is finger licking good. Bucket together, come make we bucket together. Hey, bucket together, bucket together.
Every day you're an inspiration with the things them way you do. The everyday work and the everyday play. Whether you eat food with your friend them or you build track and run with him. Flow is committed to the everyday, going the extra mile, mile after mile every day. And the best is yet to come. Flow, every day better.
Back, it's time now for our business report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today. Anniversaries often serve as an opportunity for moments of reflection, and 62 years removed from the moment that guaranteed Jamaica political independence, the business report now contemplates the economic progress that has been made in that time. Though many of the macro indicators of the economy look better with low unemployment and dwindling debt, there remains one constraint: that many believe has led to the atrophy of Jamaica's economic muscle, and that's export, or lack of it, a drum that Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Aubin Hill continues to sound when noting that in just one of those 62 years has Jamaica ever exported more than it's imported.
But if we do not secure our economic independence, the political independence won't last forever. And it's not the Chinese or the Americans or the Canadians or even our friends in Trinidad who must secure our economic independence. It's us, Jamaicans. We must do it, and the way we're going to do it, one of the main ways is to make sure we export a lot more. So we have to export a lot more. We at the ministry make sure we give you a productive input relief, that if when you're going to manufacture, we